I want to go to Brittany out of Florida. And I believe I asked you to call me back, right, Brittany, from yesterday?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning, Brittany. Thank you for calling back. Go ahead.
Well, we were just talking about being able to move on and forgive my mother and everything, and you were telling me how a lot of what I do is because of my ego, which I was really thought about, and I kind of agree. I mean, it kind of hurt my feelings at first, but
Why did it hurt your feeling to recognize and admit that you're evil?
because I would not like to be evil. I try to be the best I can be as kind. I try to be good.
But you have not succeeded at that and you never will. Why do you keep trying? You never succeeded as being your best and you never will. And you never succeeded as being good and you never will. So why do you keep trying?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard it that I would never succeed at being good, or, I've always thought if I would try to be the best person I could be, I would be.
But all your life, you've been trying to be the best person. You've been trying to be good, but you only got worse. You're not gotten better. Why haven't you questioned that along the road of life? Oh my God, I've been trying to be good. I've been trying to be better. I've been trying to be this way. And I'm none of those things. I'm only getting worse. Why haven't you questioned that so you can stop trying to be that way?
I guess because I don't know. Well, it's not that myself. I feel to myself I've improved as a person. I definitely am not as bad as I once was. I've improved as a person.
You have
I
not
have things.
improved at all. You're as worse as you were when you started out. You're still evil.
Well, how do I change that?
By seeing it and admitting it, I am evil. And then once you can admit it, forgive, and God will forgive you and take the spirit of evil from your heart and clear your mind, and you'll be free. But as long as you think you're good, you will always be evil. Those who have overcome and are of good, they never think that they are good nor bad. Can you hold for a minute, Brittany?
Yeah.
Don't forget your thought. I'll be right back. Oh, amazing. I want to go back to Brittany out of Florida. Brittany,
Yes, sir.
so do you see that all your life you've been trying to do good and be good, and you only got worse? You have never.
Unfortunately, yes.
I'm sorry?
I said, unfortunately, yes.
And so, why have you continued to lie to yourself that you were being good and doing good when you really were not, and you're never going to be able to do that? Why have you lied to yourself?
I don't think it's necessarily that I lied to myself. I think I try to do what's right because I guess that's what I was taught was to do
Yes.
what was right.
But you've never been able to do what's right. And you can't teach a person to do right. That's what parents do with children. They try to teach them to be right and do right, and they screw them up. And the kids become wrong. And all their lives, they grow up trying to be right and do right, and they never succeed at it.
I feel that.
So you were also keeping your brother or something?
Yeah. Remember, I received custody of my Down syndrome brother when I was 22,
Oh
and I've had
yeah.
him ever since.
So what are you gonna do now that you know you are doing that out of guilt? You're not even doing that out of love.
Well, see, at first it was out of love. You know what I'm saying? It was. But then as life went on, and me and my husband, we've had more kids. It's gotten a little bit harder to take care of him, and it really puts a restraint on my family, honestly, because
Yeah.
he messes himself. We can't do things like we normally would because of I hate putting the blame on him because he can't control what he has. It's not a fault of his own.
Right. I understand that. Why do you say at first you were doing it out of love?
Because it was something that I like I said, our grandparents raised us. I was always raised to take care of him, and when they weren't around to do it, that's what I did. And when they passed away, that's what I continued doing.
But you never
And
done
then
it out of love. You did it because it was put on you to do it. It was never your choice. You were
well,
made to feel guilty and responsible for it. And you were made to believe it was the right thing to do. You have never done it out of love because you have no love.
I hope I have some in me.
You have zero. Human beings don't
And what
have
is
love.
that?
Human beings don't have love. And that's why this situation with him has only gotten worse over the years and not gotten better because you didn't do it out of love. Your grandparents and your mother and somebody put that upon you and made you feel guilty if you didn't do it and made you feel like it was the right thing to do when it was never the right thing to do and when you never wanted to do it.
I mean, at first I kind of did.
Only because they made you feel that way.
Probably.
No, they did. I have no doubt about it. They made you feel responsible. They made you feel it was the right thing to do. And you told yourself, oh, I have love. Let me do it. And now you're at a point where it only gotten worse. And out of guilt, you won't even put the boy into a facility where people are paid to take care of him. Because you're afraid it's the wrong thing to do. Oh, I'm guilty. And you're suffering out of hate and not out of love.
I agree.
So why don't you drop all the evil and start to live and do what's right? You won't be able to do it, but what right will work through you. You will have a life. Why don't you drop the ego?
I think part of me, like you said, I was trained to do what I do.
Yes.
And part of me has not, I don't want to fail,
But you are failing. You're not.
I know.
You're not winning. You're losing.
I know.
So what do you mean you don't want to fail when you are failing?
Well, because I don't, and I know you say I shouldn't, but I don't want to fail what my grandparents put me out to do. I feel like I'll be failing my brother. I feel like I'll be failing God because, the way I kind of put it on myself is like everybody's got their cross to carry, right? And this is my cross. And my cross is not as hard or as difficult as some other people's crosses are to carry. So who am I to say if this isn't what I'm supposed to carry or not? So that's why I've kind of always limboed back and forth what's in between the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do because I don't know what I am supposed to do because I don't know. I can't tell the difference between what I'm supposed to do and what I'm not supposed to do.
If you were doing what you were supposed to do in life, you wouldn't be miserable. You would have perfect peace. And your cross is what you need to lay down, which is your ego. You got to die on the cross. You got to die to the ego. God sent his son so you can lay down your cross, not carry a cross. What's up?
I know. I feel guilty even putting my cross on him to carry because I don't feel like I'm...
But you're not putting your cross on God. You and Satan are one with your cross. God's not going to pick up your cross unless you let go so he can destroy the ego nature, which is evil. He's going to help you that way. But as long as you and Satan are one and you're calling him God, he's not going to help you. There's nothing he can do. And your grandmother put that up on you, and she was wrong to do that to you. Forgive her. She was blind to it, no love. And then your mama, whomever else made you feel guilty about it, forgive them. They had no love. You had no business having this put up on you as a young person. But evil people gave it to you.
And like I see my mom as evil. I never saw my grandparents as evil because I felt like that was something that was kind of put on them as well. Like
But your
they
mother,
didn't have to take me in. They didn't have to raise me. They
but
could have, thrown me to a home. They didn't have to do none of that.
but your mother know that your grandmother is evil because your mother is her mother, and your grandmother recreated your mother, her image. That's why your mother is the way she is. She need to forgive her mother. Your grandmother was not an angel, maybe an angel of Satan, but not of God. There was nothing good in your grandma. Grandpa tell me about the good old days. You're calling good evil or evil good. Had
Maybe
you
the only way I see them as being good is because that's the only, I don't know, that out of everything in life, that was really the only bright thing that I've ever saw. They were the only people that ever really showed any love to me.
because she wanted
Or
to deceive you to make you think that your mother was the problem, not her. And so she took you and made you subject to her so she could cover up that she had destroyed your mother.
and I do kind of say that, like, when I talk to my husband a lot about it, about how my grandmother should have been so much harder on my mother than she was.
Your grandmother did not love your mother. And that's why your mother is suffering. She's angry at your grandmother, her mother. But because of time, you got to drop your false identity. You're no good. You're never going to be any good. You ain't good. Yeah. And as
So do
soon
I stop trying to be good? Like, how do you drop that?
as stop trying to be good, stop believing the thoughts and the lies that you've been told that you can be good. Give up the idea of good. Drop your morals. Drop your ideal of morality, and then you'll be good. But as long as you hold on to morality, you're going to be no good because you're trying to live up to something that's not real, and it was created by human nature, and human nature is evil.
I agree. How do I get rid of my morals? Something that ingrained in me.
And they're ingrained in your mind, not in you. They're ingrained in your mind and your emotions. So drop the thought about morality. Don't ever call yourself moral again. Free people never brag about themselves, never talk about themselves. They take no credit for anything because they're free. Drop your ideas about being moral, about being good, about being this, and about being that, and you'll be free.
So even if I do put him in a home, right? Or that doesn't make me a horrible person. That doesn't make me a bad sister.
And who are you?
I don't know.
So what makes you think you could be bad?
Because I guess I was raised to think I'm supposed to be a certain way.
Right. You've been lied to. You've been set up to suffer in life and not to be free. They imprison you, and you've been living in prison all of your life of your imagination and what your parents and everybody taught you. They taught you wrong. Which is easy for you to accept? You are a sinner, or all your sins have been forgiven?
Honestly, probably I'm a sinner.
But Christ said your sins have been forgiven. I thought you were trying to please God.
I am.
So why
I'm really
are you saying
sometimes
that? Are you saying Christ lied when he said your sins have been forgiven?
No.
So then why is it easy for you to accept you're a bad person when Christ said you're not?
No. I think because I don't know, maybe like I said, I don't find myself worthy, I guess.
Worthy of what?
Forgiveness.
What? But who is the self that's not worthy when he said he forgive you? Who are you talking? Who are you talking about that's not worthy of forgiveness? Who are you talking about?
I guess myself. Sometimes I just feel like like I said, like I feel like I've failed.
And
I feel like
who is the self that's feeling this way?
me,
And who are you?
evil.
Who are you though that feel this way? Because you said myself, I feel that way. Who is the self that's feeling that way?
I don't know, Brittany the sister, Brittany the granddaughter, you know.
So that's your name. You are a granddaughter. You are a sister, but that's not you. Who is the person that's feeling this way?
I don't know. Honestly, I've never really got to find myself. Never really.
So why do you say I feel this way then?
Because I have always thought this is just me. This is how it is. This is how it was. This is how it will be.
Are you your thoughts?
No.
Are you your feelings?
No.
Are you your body?
No.
So why do you call it you feeling this way?
I don't know, maybe because I haven't found the real me yet, I guess.
And do you want to find the real you?
Of course.
If you want to find the real you, drop the false you. Drop your morality. Drop your trying to be good or bad. Drop your emotions. Drop your ideas. Drop everything, and then you'll see you. Become nothing. Become no identity, and then you'll see you.
How can you tell me, how do you do that? How do you drop all that? How do you just don't? How do you don't? I don't know how to not do. That's my problem. I don't know how to not do.
Number one, stop calling those things you. No more say I'm good. No more say I'm bad. No more say somebody hurt my feelings or someone made me feel this way or that way. No more say that don't identify anything. Don't even identify with God, because to identify with God is just another false identity. It's a thought. And that's why you don't know God. You're not one with him, because you have this idea about God, but ideas about God is just ideas about God. You will never know God with ideas, but you let all your ideas go and go through hell by meaning let the ego die, because it's not going to want to, but let it die, and on the other side of hell is heaven. You got to go to hell in order to reach heaven.
I'm already halfway there, so.
Well, you're already in hell, but you got to go. You got to go through it by letting it die. You got to feel the pain of the death of the ego, the fear, the worries, the doubt, the jealousy, the envy, the strife, the false love, the false hate. You got to feel all that and let God save it, take it away from you. You got to go through that hell, and then on the other side is heaven.
So how do you know when what you're doing is right or wrong?
When you don't think about it.
When you just do?
When you don't think about it. There's no thinking in right and wrong or wrong. There's no thinking about it at all. When you stop thinking about it, you'll be right and do right.
Thinking, my husband always tells me I think too much.
Because you're one with the devil. You're living it, and your thoughts are not God's thought. His thoughts are way above your thought. Your thoughts are not his. And you're not listening to God, you're listening to Satan. That's why I'm telling you to drop your thoughts so you can have the mind of God.
I have to work on silence.
You got to work on forgiving. Forgive your mother. She could not help herself. She has the same spiritual issues that you're having right now. Her mother screwed her up. Forgive your mother. She couldn't help herself. Forgive your father for not protecting you from your mother. He didn't know how to do that. He weak. He was afraid of your mother. And don't hold, and just do the silent prayer and watch those thoughts and just live your life. Get away from thinking.
Okay. I
And
will
then,
work on it one day at a time.
right. That's right. Stop trying to be good or bad. Don't be either one. Because neither one or either one are you. Stop by trying to be that. Don't call yourself that again ever. Because it was never you. It was the evil that made a home in you that's been driving you. And it's been pretending that is you. And the world have told you that is you. So you believe the lie.
I agree. I believe that.
So do the silent prayer. Watch those thoughts. Let them pass. Do nothing about them. Don't call them you. And you'll see you'll be free. You got to go through hell to reach heaven. You got to go through the death of the ego. In order to get a life, you got to give up a life. And the life you have to give up is the thought and emotional life. The so-called good feelings and the bad one. The good thoughts and the bad one. You got to let them go. You must die if you want to live. The spiritual life.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Jesse. Thank you very much.
I wish you well. Let me know how it goes.
I will. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.